Hey guys, Tyler here from Fisherman, Smallcraft Outfitters. Want to show you today a simple fix for maintenance issues on the gravity seat. Right here I have a brand new Feelfree Dorado 125 with a high back gravity seat. This will work on any of the lure series, regular back, high back, what have you, they're all the same. I got into Feelfree as a customer before I was a dealer on their fishing team because I have chronic back issues. I wanted a super comfortable seat. This fit the bill, among other things with Feelfree, their customer service, etc. But the gravity seat is known for comfort, easy to clean. You can just put some Dawn dish soap on it, scrub brush. This fabric cleans right up. And the fabric's actually more of a plastic, so it doesn't hold the water long. There's drain holes in the frame and the bottom. Super easy maintenance. One of the complaints after some use is the seat won't go down right or it won't stay up, etc. It's a super easy fix. We do this by default on all of the boats that we sell here at Smallcraft Outfitters just to save our customers the hassle of the maintenance. But super easy to do, super inexpensive to fix that issue. There's a bit of an art to it. We figured it out. We do that by default, like I said. I want to show you today how to do that on the Feelfree Gravity Seat. So all you need is some blue Loctite. We get a big jug of it because we do it for all of our customer boats that come through, and we go through quite a bit of it as such. The 243 has some grease repellent properties, but any of the blue Loctite, even the other brands that are out there, is fine. There's some debate on the forums, etc., about using red Loctite. Red Loctite certainly works. You just have to apply heat to it in order to back those screws out, those bolts out, if you decide to do that, if you were to need to take it out, those bolts apart. So personal preference, I just use blue because you can, with some force, take it out rather than applying heat. You also need a 6mm wrench. I actually keep this on my kayak at all times. It fits quite a few things. I actually have this wrench that has multiple sizes, and that fits pretty much everything on the boat, especially if you have overdrive, so if anything comes loose you can tighten it back up. So 6mm wrench and blue Loctite is all we need for this. Alright, so first thing you want to do is take the seat out. This one is from the Dorado, so it has a seat adjuster on it here on the bottom. Doesn't matter either way. We aren't touching the seat adjuster or anything like that, so even if it's a regular lure without the seat adjuster, it'll work just fine. First thing you want to do is there's some Velcro here on the pouch flap here that kind of protects the spring mechanism. Just undo that, and the 3 bolts that we're concerned about are this Allen bolt, this one, and then this is the main one here where the actual spring mechanism is, and that's where the teeth are that actually stop the seat position and makes a clicking noise as you raise and lower it. Alright, so I always start with these 2 screws that are not on the spring mechanism here just because they're a little easier to do. Simply remove bolts rather, shouldn't call them screws I guess technically. From the factory they're either bare or sometimes there might be a little grease on them just to help them with the assembly process. Take my blue Loctite here, pour a dab on the threads and put it back in. Now, this one's a little tricky, and they can all be a little tricky, but you have to line up this support bar here. So usually what I do is I just kind of wiggle it around. It does seem to be a little easier if the seat's in the full upright position, like I have this one now. If it's flat, it's got a little bit of different torsion on it. It's a little harder to do. Sometimes you just have to give it a little tap to pop the threads in. Maybe move the frame around a little bit. There, I felt it grab. Use your thumb. You might have to wiggle this around just to get those threads lined up. Once you do, it's super simple to put it in. Alright, so I tighten this one down. I mean, you don't want to torque it a whole lot. Maybe back it off 1/8 of a turn, 1/4 turn, depending on what you feel is tight. Because once that Loctite cures, it'll hold pretty well. So you do the same thing with this middle bolt. This one's the easiest one probably because it doesn't have that support bar in there that you have to deal with. It's just these two crossbars. Take this out, apply a dab of blue Loctite, or red's just fine if you prefer. Just like I said before, make sure you know that you have to apply heat to get the red stuff off. Same thing as before, kind of move these bars around to align the threads until you feel it grab. And in we go. So I torqued this one down pretty hard, back it off, about a quarter turn, eighth of a turn, so it's snug. I mean, I've told people do just a quarter turn over finger tight is good too. Just depends on what you feel. Just go by your gut. Those two aren't as important as this one right here. Alright, so this one is the important one. This is a spring mechanism that this bolt goes through this big plastic washer thing. There's a spring and there's a tooth system here that actually, when you raise the seat up, you hear the clicks. That's what's clicking. It's the same on both sides. So what usually happens if you have issues with the seat staying up or lowering or what have you, this is your problem, because this one, it gets a lot of movement, and just like on a bicycle, there's a lot of maintenance that needs to be done on that with all the moving parts. I'm a mountain biker myself. This just needs to be tightened up once in a while. This Loctite will help. I actually Loctite on my mountain bikes on the moving parts as well for the same reason. So what you want to do is just pull this bolt out. And hold this plastic washer thing, for lack of a better technical explanation on my part, as you pull this out, because this is on a spring. And if you just pull the thing out, the whole assembly will blow open, which isn't a big deal. It's super easy to fix. I recommend actually taking a picture of it, perhaps, before you do this, just in case it does come out. Super easy to reattach, just a matter of figuring out how it went. This spring comes up, goes around, and then it latches in a little notch here, and then that plastic washer thingy goes in there. Dab some blue Loctite, and then use one hand to push that plastic thingy back into place with the latch. And then I usually start finger tightening it to make sure it grabs, and then use my 6mm Allen for the final spins. Now, this is the main part. This is the key part to making this work properly. I tighten that down pretty tight. I push up on this mechanism and it doesn't come back down. So this is the problem you're having when your seat won't stay up. This mechanism's too tight. Or sometimes if it's too loose, these teeth won't grab because this will be pushed outwards and the teeth will slip and this will pop out and the chair will fall down on you while you're on the water or what have you. So what you want to do is back this off slowly while pushing up repeatedly on this mechanism until it moves freely. You might need to move the tag end of the rope here that pulls. So right now I've got it where it moves, but it doesn't go back down into the teeth very easily. I very slightly back it off. Get that tag out of the way. There, it works nice. If I tighten it any more, it won't move all the way. I mean, you can trim this tag end off if you want, but it's not an issue. Honestly, on the water, it just gets in the way when you're doing this procedure. So you want to do this actually on both sides, exactly the same. The difference being on the other side, the bolt will go the other way against the mechanism. So just be aware that it'll behave a little differently. The left side of the seat's a little more deceiving because when you loosen it to the left, it pushes the mechanism down, so it might trick you. So that's why I just tighten it, loosen it until it flips, and then tighten it a little bit and just kind of keep going back and forth until you hit that sweet spot where it moves real easy, but not too easy and not too slowly that it doesn't engage with the teeth by itself. So that's really it. Once you're done, you throw this cover back around here. That keeps that mechanism from getting pinched and things, stuff caught in it. And then you do the other side exactly the same, as I said. Another tip I recommend for the gravity seat is just to keep that blue Loctite from getting rattled too much. I mean, red would be a non-issue, but again, you got to apply heat to take it off. Personal preference is if I have my kayaks on a trailer or on the roof, I have the seat up a little bit, usually further back than this. Usually more like this, like a 45-degree angle. What that'll do is when the seat's all the way down, it'll act as a spoiler and keep that seat down so it won't bounce on the potholes and stuff like that. If you're doing it in the back of your truck in the bed, you can have the seat down flat if you want, or up, doesn't matter. But that'll just keep it from bouncing too much, working those bolts loose, because even with the Loctite on, if there's enough rattling for a long enough time, it can give you some grief. So that's it. If you guys have any questions, comment below. Make sure you like and subscribe to our page. We'll be doing a giveaway here once we get 1,000 subscribers. So thanks for watching. And if there's any other tips and tricks you'd like to see on the Feelfree kayaks, Three Waters kayaks, or Seastream kayaks, let us know.